Good day everyone, my name is Alvin and today I'm going to present on my final year project named ClickBites. ClickBites is a restaurant recommendation system based on user-centric sentiment analysis of reviews. Nowadays, a lot of restaurant recommendation system exist in the internet which allows users to search for restaurants that they wish to visit. However, one important factor which makes the existing system less convenient to the users is the lack of personalized recommendation. As we all know, different people has different needs when searching for a go-to restaurant, and therefore the distinctiveness in everyone's preferences often creates inconvenience to the user when searching for a certain restaurant which suits their own needs. If we dive deeper to this area, we often found that different people have specific needs towards different aspects related to the restaurants. So, is there a way to enhance the restaurant recommendation so that different people can get their own personalized recommendation? Yes, introducing the ClickBites, a restaurant recommendation system based on user-centric sentiment analysis of reviews. The proposed system will implement the aspect-based sentiment analysis on each user reviews and try to determine the different preferences level of each user towards the 5 common aspects. The 5 common aspects are food, which focuses on the food and drink quality. Secondly, service, which focuses on the service quality by the working staff. Thirdly, the price, which clearly means the price of the food sold. Ambience, the environment in the restaurant. And lastly, miscellaneous, which is any other factor other than all the pre-mentioned 4 factors. The project objective of ClickBites is to create an aspects-based sentiment analysis algorithm to accurately determine the user's preferences on the defined 5 restaurant aspects. Secondly, implement recommendation engine to provide recommendation based on the cosine similarity values between a user vector and a list of restaurant vectors. Thirdly, to develop a recommendation system which is a full-feature web-based recommendation system and provide an overall insights of own preferences and business performance. There are altogether 4 modules in ClickBites. First module is the data management module, which focuses on data collection, data annotation, and data preparation. Secondly, aspect-based sentiment analysis module, which focuses on data preprocessing, identification of aspect opinion polarity vector, and also the calculation of preference score and aspect score. Thirdly, the restaurant user matching module, which calculate the cosine similarity values between each user vector and a set of restaurant vector. Lastly, location-based recommendation module, which is a web application user interaction between the user and the system. And one important feature in ClickBites is a map function, which allows users to drag and drop a pin on the map to search restaurant based on the pin location. The intelligent component that is used in ClickBites is the aspect-based sentiment analysis. It can generally be divided into 4 stages, which are the aspect opinion pair identification, polarity determination, calculation of preference scores and aspect score, and lastly, the unsupervised similarity matching and ranking. Let's take a look at an example review here. The fried rice is nice but the surrounding is noisy. As we can see, our main objective here is to identify the aspect opinion pairs available in each review sentence by feeding this review sentence into our aspect extraction model, which is a fine-tuned BERT model. By feeding the review sentence to the model, we managed to identify 2 pairs of aspect opinion pairs, which are the fried rice nice, mentioning the food aspect, and the surrounding noisy, which mentioning on the ambience aspect. Once we obtain all the aspect opinion pairs in all sentences in each review, we will identify the polarity score for each aspect opinion pairs using the weather sentiment analyzer and then aggregate all the score using mean calculation to obtain the aspect opinion polarity vector for each review, which is a 5D vector where each dimension representing the sentiment score for each aspect in the particular review. Then we group out all the reviews left by each user to calculate the preference score of each user entity. The calculation is done by finding the product of aspect importance and aspect need for each user. And lastly, obtain the 5D user vector. For the restaurant entity, we perform the similar grouping task to gather a list of reviews left on the specific restaurant and calculate the aspect score using the average of all review score. In the end, we will obtain a list of 5D restaurant vectors. In the last stage, which is the unsupervised similarity matching and ranking, we perform cosine similarity calculation between a single user vector with a list of related restaurant vectors. The output of the calculation is a list of similarity score, and we will rank the score based on sorting from highest to lowest, and thus providing the relevant recommendation to the user. Now, we will move on to the demo section. So whenever the user are in the homepage of the ClickBites, the user will be prompted an action which requests the user to allow location access to the system. So once the user click on allow, the system will get the current location of the user and thus providing the search result based on the current location. If we scroll down in the main page, we can have a common categories listed at the bottom, which allows the user to search based on common categories. So for example, let's say the user click on Japanese. The user will get a list of result which is related to Japanese and also based on the current location as shown in this map here. So if the user drag and drop this pin to another location, the result will be changed accordingly. So for example, if I drop and put the pin to Kulim, the result is changed based on the location pinned by the user. If the user pin back to the original location, the recommendation will change again. So ClickBites allows the user to use the system without login and also login. So if the user did not log into the system, there are some features which the user can't use. For example, this toggle function here. This toggle function here will allow the user to change the sorting algorithm in this result list based on rating and also the similarity values. So if the user did not log into the system will disallow this toggle function, and all the sorting here are based on the rating score, which is shown here 3.8, 3.7 and goes to 1 and so on. So if the user click on one of the card here, the next page is the restaurant details page, which display some common information about this restaurant, so such as the name of the restaurant, the categories, the description, some common statistics such as views, reviews and rating, and also a list of all past review left by all other users to this system. And there is a radar chart at the bottom here, which is about the aspect analysis, and the user can hover the mouse to see on the score for each aspect for this restaurant. Another feature, if the user did not log in and he or she can't use, is the leave a new review function, which is shown in this plus symbol here, and as you can see, it is now disallowed too. So if the user want to use this leave a new review and also the toggle function, the user needs to create a new account and log in to his or her own account. So now I'll perform a new account creation. So once the new user sign up a new account, the user is prompted, is redirected to the login page, which requires the user to log in to his account. Okay, once the user successfully log into his account, the system will redirect the user back to the home page. And once again, the system requests the location access from the user. And as you can see, there are some changes to the main page of the system. As you can see at the top of the navigation bar, there are 5 new radial progress bar at the top. this radial progressor is the scores of the preference score of this user, and as currently there are no reviews left by this user, so therefore all the score are by default 0. And also there is a new button, register a business, which allows the user to register a business if he or she is interested to register, is to open a restaurant, and also profile button, and also the logout button. So now let's say the user want to perform a new search, coffee, and also if that as you can see, the toggle function is allowed now, and the user can click on it to change the sorting based on either default one or the sorting based on the similarity values. But since now there isn't any review left by this user, the system couldn't calculate the similarity score yet. Therefore, now I'll proceed to leave a new review first. So if let's say the user want to leave a new review, the user can click on the plus symbol and then leave a new review. And once the user click the save button, the system will perform the aspect-based sentiment analysis on the review, identifying the aspect opinion polarity vector for the newly added review. Once the aspect-based sentiment analysis process is done, the application is refreshed and the review is shown in the bottom review section as shown here. And as you can see, the radar chart for aspect analysis for each restaurant also change, where it includes the chart for the user level, and the user can have a general view of how this restaurant performed in each aspect and compare the scores to his own score. If we move back to the search result page, the toggle function allows the user to sort the result based on either rating or similarity values. So if I toggle this function, as you can see, the result is changed based on the similarity values as shown in this number here. When we move on to the profile page, the user can view some general information about this specific user. For example, all the past review left by this user, and also the same radar chart will show the scores for each aspect for this user. And if the user is interested to register a new business, the user can click on this button here and tries to register a new business. So let's say the user wants to register a new business, roastery coffee. So the map function here allows the user to pinpoint the exact location of the registered the restaurant. So let's say if the user search on Georgetown, the user can zoom in and then tries to pin on the exact location so that the system will record the most accurate location for this registered restaurant. So once the user click register, a new business is created, and then the system will redirect the user to the business dashboard, which is this page. In this page, the user can view some general information about the registered restaurant, such as description, some categories, and also some common statistics such as view, total reviews and rating, and also the similar radar chart. And lastly, at the bottom is the review section, which allows the user to view all the past reviews left on this business. If the user wants to use the original application like a normal user, the user can click on home, and the user can use ClickBites as a normal user again. So that's all for the demo. In conclusion, ClickBites can effectively perform the aspect-based sentiment analysis on customer reviews, and also it can provide personalized recommendation based on each user's underlying preferences on the 5 aspects, which are the food, service, price, ambience, and miscellaneous. ClickBites also can analyze the performance of a business through analyzing the customer reviews, and also it offers user-friendly features and attractive user interface to his user. There are some future works which can be done to improve ClickBites. Firstly, aspect target extraction model can be enhanced with a larger dataset for training. Secondly, more convenient features such as comparison between restaurants, more graphical representation for business performance can be added to enhance the user experience. Thirdly, we can try to explore other deep learning model to implement better aspect-based sentiment analysis so that ClickBites can provide a more better recommendation to the users. That's all for the presentation. Thank you.